Hi, it's Dave here. I'm not with my wife, Kathy. I'm with a big group of lads. Make noise.
All
right. That's right, lads on tour. We have Matthew, James, and Drew, and we are going to go see 50 Shades Freed. What's it called? 50 Shades Freed.
Yes.
Is it Freed? Free or Freed?
Freed. I think it's Freed. With
Freed.
Yeah.
So she has already been freed. That's the implication here. Or she will be. That's past tense.
Yeah.
Oh, so
or it's like Creed.
It's over. 50 Shades Creed. That'd be good.
She's been freed of her inhibitions there, hasn't she?
She certainly has. Oi, oi. So, Drew, as the resident expert, because you're the only one who's seen the first two.
Wow, I'm not sure I'm proud of that.
what do you should be? That's why I brought you along.
This is the first one that I'll be
expert.
seeing in the cinema. The first two I enjoyed in the comforts of my home.
By yourself, on the laptop.
While the missus was out on a girls' night, yeah.
Right. Also seeing the movie. We should say, while we are recording this, Kathy is simultaneously going to a screening with all ladies. So this is essentially, we're getting the male and female perspective on this movie. So that we can't be criticised for gender bias or inequality.
No, yeah, it's only fair, right? It's only
Yeah,
fair.
exactly.
This could be a pretty interesting social experiment, actually.
I think, well, we are going to submit a paper on this to anybody who'll read it or listen. I'm just going to give a quick synopsis of the movie. This is the official synopsis from IMDb. Believing they have left behind shadowy figures from their past, newlyweds Christian and Anna, spoiler alert, James and Matthew, because you haven't
married.
seen the first two.
Forget it.
I'll fill you in.
I'm done.
They got married. They fully embrace an inextricable connection and shared life of luxury. But just as she steps into her role as Mrs. Grey and he relaxes into an unfamiliar stability, new threats could jeopardize their happy ending
Nice.
before it even begins. It's got everything,
Yeah,
this movie.
so much tension already. We haven't even started. It's crazy.
so excited.
Even the description is laced with innuendo.
Exactly. That's got to be deliberate. James, considering you're an actual producer, and you know we all work together, and part of your job is to stop us from using offensive swear words. So I thought it'd be appropriate if you read out the official BBFC warning.
Okay, the BBFC warning. There is strong sex and sexualized nudity, along with the portrayal of erotic role play based on domination, submission, and sadomasochistic practices. There are also strong verbal references to sexual activity. There is strong language. I mean, can I say the full words?
Yeah, go for it.
Fuck, as well as milder terms. Hell, shit, arse, dick, crap, bullshit, damn, bitch, and a middle finger gesture.
All right, so we're going to be looking out for that. There's a lot to look forward to.
They should just put that instead of the description.
That's the tagline. I think that's also the reviews are just going to be the middle finger gesture. Right, I've also prepared a couple of extracts from the book of 50 Shades Freed. For anyone who doesn't know, this is actually based on a series of books.
You've prepared these
I wrote
passages
them.
you've written.
Yeah, I've got some fan fiction.
I know this is based on fan fiction, Dave, so I wasn't sure.
Just a big fan.
Okay, insightful.
Right, so you guys haven't seen these quotes. I don't think you've read the books. I don't.
No. Weirdly enough,
You've been meaning to.
Yeah.
They've just been sitting on the
Yeah,
shelves.
it's on the
Not
file.
yet.
Yeah.
That's me and visual beings.
Yes, that's a quote for all time. So I've prepared a number of quotes, which each of you are going to read out. Brace yourselves; these are pretty raunchy. So just don't get too aroused. Right? So we're in public. All right, James. Here's your quote at the top.
Okay.
This is a passage from 50 Shades Freed.
That one.
Yeah.
He groans loudly and thrusts deep again and again, over and over, and I'm lost. Trying to absorb the pleasure, I detonate around him again and again, round and round, screaming loudly as my orgasm rips me apart, scorching through me like a wildfire, consuming everything.
Wow. Luckily, there's nobody sitting near us.
The word detonate's a very strong word, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's interesting, yeah.
Getting ripped apart by an orgasm.
It sounds pretty painful. I'm looking forward to that scene in the movie. Andrew, there's a slight spoiler, I think, for the movie in here, so be warned, anyone who wants to go. Who's going to this movie?
I've got to channel my inner Christian here. Do you want me to spank you, Anastasia? Everything south of my waist tightens deliciously. I realize I've wanted this since he threatened me during lunch. He smacks me hard, so I cry out. Then sticks 2 fingers inside me. He withdraws them immediately, spreading the moisture up
Oh my God.
and around my anus. I have a small present for you here, Christian whispers. Holy crap, a butt plug.
Spoiler alert for the
What
present.
a twist! I didn't know it was going to go there.
All
I
right,
was
Matthew,
waiting to see how many times I
final.
would say the word moist.
Fingers crossed that the butt
First
plug
one's done.
scene makes it into the movie.
Yeah. Right, I'm genuinely quite innocent here, so... it's
Yes,
gonna be-
you are. Well, you were. You're
Right, here
not
we go.
anymore.
Okay. You have such beautiful breasts, Anna. He groans. One day I'll fuck them. What the hell does that mean? Opening my eyes, I gape down at him as he suckles me, my skin singing under his touch. And it burns deliciously, hot and low, deep inside me. And all thought evaporates as my body tightens and clenches, pinning for release.
Beautiful.
I mean, if there was
Oh,
any
no.
doubt of how awkward this is going to be, that has put that to bed.
I've just had to
Well
take
and
off my
truly.
jacket.
Drew's getting hot on the collar.
We should actually describe what everyone's wearing. So, Drew, you're wearing some sort of fluffy pink handcuffs. I thought that was a nice, nice choice. James, you went for the sort of garter belt and
Classic
stockings
look.
approach.
Yeah. Classic
Yeah.
look.
Matthew's completely naked, which I'm surprised we
He's
got.
taken the rain mat off.
No one told me the dress code, so I came appropriate.
All right, guys. I think.
PVC really suits you, by the way, Dave.
Thank you so much. It's very itchy. Probably shouldn't have used so much powder. I think we should just head in.
Let's do it.
Head in, he says seductively.
You did write those passages.
Everything is layered with innuendo now. All right, we'll see you. Oh, God help us. It's an hour. See you in an hour and 40 minutes.
Let's do this.
Please stop speaking to my husband as if I weren't here.
Anna.
You may call me Mrs. Gray.
I'll pick you up at 5.
I might not be done by then.
We're being followed.
How the hell are you, Anna?
Jack, what do you want?
All right, so we've God, for fuck's sake, 50 Shades Freed. We just saw it. I think let's just jump straight to spoilers on this one. If you haven't seen the movie, don't go see it. Just listen to this. We'll describe to you what happened so you don't have to see it. Because nobody should. I don't think any of us would recommend seeing this. Would you?
No.
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 That was a tough. It was a tough hour 45.
It felt like a word-for-word screen adaptation of a high school play written by a group of 16-year-old girlfriends about what they imagine life is like as an adult.
Life with a billionaire.
Exactly.
Oh my God! Imagine if I was married to a billionaire.
Yeah, and we got together during lunch break at school and we wrote a play, and that's exactly what they put on screen.
So let's talk about Christian Grey, okay? Because I think we could all agree he's the villain.
Oh, he's a massive knob. He's such a knob. Like, they get married and he
That's
just,
scene one.
I don't know if he... Yeah, that's it. Yes,
Scene one,
Scene one. They get
married.
married.
Montage, yep. Montage of that.
Oh,
So,
montage,
doing
traveling
yeah.
the world.
We knew it was happening.
Quick note on that, actually. Did you notice they got to Paris? And of course,
And
he
then-
gives her a bracelet of the Eiffel Tower.
What's that?
'Cause, which I'm convinced he picked up in a pound shop, in a gift shop.
A vendor at the bottom
Yeah.
of the Eiffel Tower. €5.
So sorry I interrupted you. They got married.
Well, I mean, I don't know if he was a dick in the previous films or not, but...
Oh, confirmed. I've seen the second one.
He has trust issues.
You've seen all
Okay.
of them. Yeah, but but that's the movie's language for disguising the fact that He's
just a
control
dick.
freak.
Yeah, he's
He's
like
an abusive boyfriend.
He's more of a stalker than the stalker that is in the film. I mean,
Yeah.
he's like creeping on her so badly. It's scary.
Yeah,
like,
so he shows up at her. She goes. They get married. They
Yeah.
get back. She goes back to work.
yeah.
Where she gets given a promotion without even
Without
being there.
Which, I mean, we work together. It happens often. I'm
Yeah,
sick of it,
I
actually.
come back
I hate
from
when you come
holiday
back on a
without
Monday.
having done anything, and I become CEO.
So
how
they're
it
like,
works in the
hey, you
real
have a
world."
promotion. This is your office now. And she's like, oh, great. And then there's a little bit where she's, her friend, she's catching up with her friend, and she's like, oh, by the way, I've talked to IT, and I've changed your email address. I hope that's okay, because you're now
Now
Anastasia
Gray, not Steele.
And she's like, no, I'd rather be Anastasia Steele at work. Cut to next scene, Christian storms in the middle of an important
Yeah, what
meeting.
turns out to be like the most important meeting of her career, seemingly.
The entire movie.
He literally-
The most important meeting of the entire
just
movie.
bursts in, just ruins ruins a business meeting where she's trying to broker some sort of, I don't know, deal with the author to sign for a second book or something.
Yeah.
And then has a go at her for not changing her name on day one.
I mean, right, okay. I've mentioned we work together. If you try to get anything done in the tech land, it takes about 2 to 3 weeks. Imagine trying to change your name. It's like, I emailed you, I got a bounce back. It's like, what is it, 12:30? She's been
Do you know what
back
I
to
mean?
3 hours.
It's not, it takes that long to cascade that down to the front of house staff, She might have done it, but it just hasn't reached front desk. And they're like, nope, never heard of her.
And this is exactly the problem with all these movies, because she concedes, right? She never stands up for herself. She says, the movie wants you to think that she's standing up for herself.
Yeah.
Because she goes, no, Christian, I'm going to think about it, right? Do you hear what I said? And that's called compromise. And that's what a marriage is all about. And then he's like, oh, feisty. And then 4 or 5 scenes later, half an hour later, she's just like, hello, this is Grace speaking, at her office. So it's like, what? No, you fucking not compromise. He just
She's not Miss
charged
Steele
in,
anymore.
and you just let him win the argument.
There was like a small concession, wasn't there, where she says to him, like, would you change your name for me? And he's like, yes. She's like, all right, well, that's good enough for me. he said it. Well, there we are.
You're forgetting the 2 lovemaking scenes that probably happen in between that. So there's
In between those sentences.
anything that happens.
All right, well, let's talk about the love-making scene. I mean,
yeah.
I think we oh, yeah. I think, I speak for all of us that we were all uncomfortably aroused throughout, and noticeably. I mean, there was,
You
they
did
tried
leave
to
the
eject
cinema a
us.
few times.
Yeah. It's just so sexy and natural. I found it very
yeah, it actually
relatable.
did feel pretty natural between them, to be honest. They talk about chemistry on set, and yeah, I felt a bit of chemistry.
So much shoehorned sex.
Yeah.
Just sex for sex's sake. Like, probably the best example of it was the car chase scene.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I got aroused by a car chase. Let's park here and immediately have sex.
Let's have sex. Why not? Let's have sex. That scene is over. Let's have a sex scene.
Terrified 30 seconds ago, but now I feel like I need to have sex. My favourite was in the private jet on the way to. I think it must have been when they were on the way to Aspen, and
we
she
gotta talk about
rolled
Aspen.
his eyes at him. She asked him. He asked her, "Did you just roll your eyes at me?" And she said, "What are you going to do about it?" Cut to them having
back in their apartment, which is presumably 6 hours after the flight, because they would. So she's like, "What are you going to
Obviously
do
got
about
through
it?"
security
Cut to
pretty
sex
quick.
scene.
But that scene was quite weird, though, because they were surrounded by their friends having a conversation, and then that scene happens where it's like overt sexual flirting. It's like, you'd be so uncomfortable if one of your friends was having that exchange with their partner.
The most awkward 2-hour flight home. It's like,
It's like the person sitting opposite, like, anyway, how was Aspen? It was great, yeah. I'll leave you guys to it.
What are you going to do about it?
Anybody want a drink? I'll go and grab one. Yeah.
Let's talk about Aspen, though. So there's this whole scene where... first of all, the precursor to this is she goes out for a drink with her friend. And Christian spends the whole night calling her and texting her and harassing her. And to the point where the security guard... She has a security guard to monitor her at all times. And he dobs her in that, she's been out with her drink with her friend. And she's like, oh my God, I'm going to get in so much trouble.
Oh no, he knows exactly where I've been tonight.
It's like, this is a villain. This is a domestic abuse situation. She's like, can't even feel like she can go out with her friends. But he learns his lessons because he's a cool guy. So he invites all her friends to Aspen.
But then at the end of that scene, so she goes home and the guy's in her flat and has a knife at her throat, gets arrested, etc., etc. And then he comes back and he's still like mad at her. It's like, she's a knife at her throat in your flat and you're having a go at her for going for a drink. It's just like, I mean, in fact, she makes the point. She's
I called you 6 times. Oh, and how are you?
No reassurance. No, like, come on, let's just chill out, hang out on the sofa. He's just like, you should go to bed on your own.
There's so much going to bed on their own in this movie. Like, they have an argument. He's almost always wrong. And...
Well, I think their sexual chemistry obviously thrives on that revenge sex, I guess. Angry sex. I'm mad at you.
Well, they've certainly not talked too much about their relationship because, I mean, they get married and then immediately afterwards they're sort of having this seemingly the first time they're discussing having kids.
You do want to have kids,
you want kids, right? It's like, yeah, that wasn't you should have talked about it before you got married.
Yeah, and he's like, not really. So spoiler alert, she does get pregnant. And that's a big catalyst for what we can loosely refer to as the plot. She tells him that she's pregnant, and he goes, "Oh, fuck that," and
ditches it.
Storms off. But he's just misunderstood.
And he's nowhere to be found that evening. Although we do later learn that he was with an ex. I don't know what she was, Mrs. Robinson, we'll call her.
Yeah, and that was a plot point in the second one, I remember.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, missed
you guys
that completely.
Missed
Yeah, I was like,
you're gonna have to go back and watch it now, to pick up all the gruesome prequel details.
I think it's a fair assumption we're in the minority of people who are just jumping in on the third film.
The closing of the 50 Shades saga.
This is the place to start.
It actually is. Honestly, you missed nothing.
Yeah.
Like, he has no character progression.
Right.
He has no arc. He was a dick in the second one. I haven't seen the first one. Was he a dick, Andrew?
Well, you had to think about it.
Yeah, pretty, I can't remember the first one. If you're that's
fair enough. I'm already forgetting this one. There's a great proposal scene in Aspen.
Very romantic.
So, do you want to set
in a nightclub? Well, basically, to set the scene, we have...
Finding high-quality mental health care can be daunting and exhausting. That's why Cerebral offers convenient access to online mental health services, including therapy and medication management. Cerebral's diverse clinician team can help with anxiety, depression, insomnia, stress, grief, big life changes, and more. You can schedule and communicate with your care team through Cerebral's mobile app and attend your sessions from the comfort of your own home. Get started with or without insurance. Plus, you can now use FSA or HSA. Start your first month for 50% off at Cerebral.com/ACAST.
One of the characters, Anastasia's friend, who suspects her boyfriend, Christian Grey's brother, I think it is, of having an affair with a very beautiful architect who was in the film for about 30 seconds. Not quite sure why she was there, but straight after suspecting him of having an affair, they end up obviously in Aspen, where they all got carried off in the private plane on the holiday, where in a club he decided to propose to her on on the dance floor in a
in
nightclub.
front of all his friends.
You get your first dance immediately, so it's perfect.
Yeah.
Like, they thought this through. They knew what they were doing. Really.
First
But-
answer
but-
around a tequila.
What also bothered me about that scene was there's this setup with the woman he proposes to, who is, I don't know,
Anastasia's
friend or
best friend. I
something.
think she lived with her in university.
Okay, right. So they go out drinking together. You know, it's the scene where
Yeah.
Anastasia's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get in trouble. I shouldn't be having drinks because he's gonna find out." And then she says, "I think he's cheating on me with this architect person." And there's this whole thing, and she doesn't trust him and all that. And then he goes, "Will you marry me?" And she goes, "Yeah."
Also,
Even
No
though-
hesitation.
No.
and we don't see them
Doesn't
again in
address
the movie.
anything.
But still has the presence of mind to say, "Oh, did you have help from this architect woman choosing the
Yeah.
ring?" And he's
Giving-
like, "Yes, I did."
Giving him an easy
No
out.
No
Yeah.
problem. Okay, excellent. That's
Was
fine.
that woman that you were seeing mysteriously all this time helping you pick the ring? Oh, that was definitely it. Yeah.
Another great moment in the Aspen section was they were asleep at night, and Hannah has a bad dream after she's been held hostage in her flat, etc. And then she wakes up and goes off, and then Christian tries to come find her, comes into the kitchen. He goes straight to the fridge, just obviously looking for some food or something. And she sort of calls him, and she's eating ice cream on the table, and he says, "I was looking for you," just at that moment. And the Japanese woman next to me just said, "What, in the fridge?" It was just such brilliant timing.
One of those brilliant moments where like just one audience member says something and then everyone erupted in laughter around it.
It was a
And-
nice little throwback to 9.5 Weeks, though. Little food scene on the outside of the fridge.
Okay, yeah.
Oh,
with
right.
all the ice cream. and
Yeah.
stuff. Nice.
It was so sexy, that scene. The ice cream.
No, I can't think of anything worse. It looked horrific.
It's messy. It's just gross. I don't know. The whole thing was gross.
Do you think Ben and Jerry's paid for that, or do you think they purposely covered the?
I think
branding of it?
Audi
I think
paid for that.
Ben and
There
Jerry's
were a
like,
few
please cover our
Quattro.
logo.
There were a few Audis being driven around by the Greys in that film.
There's
Some
a lot of
placement
product
there.
placement in this. There's
Yeah.
a lot of just like scenes of just billionaire porn, really. Isn't
Yeah.
it? It's just like, hey, let's go back to the boat. And then there's a scene of them just on a jet ski for 4 minutes. Just like, what a life. It's like, who's the audience for this movie? Who the fuck is watching this?
The thing is, they sort of obviously gave up so much sort of space for a plot with things like that. You know, it's like you could have built some kind of plot. Instead, there's a 4-minute section on a jet ski for no purpose whatsoever. It's like,
But
you know, cut that.
We kind of all want to buy a jet ski now, I think. I think that's the idea.
On a similar vein, in terms of things that didn't matter, the butt plug scene.
Yeah.
What did that have to do with anything? It sounded like a 4-minute experimentation where they just try a butt plug. And it's like, is that technically character development? Well, I guess she likes anal now. She does like anal. We've learned
She
that.
didn't before,
No,
or
no,
did
she
she?
didn't.
I don't know.
think so.
Yeah.
I think that was a no-no.
She was
She was
like,
having like acid flashbacks in her office, wasn't she?
yeah, she was. She's drinking a cup of tea and stirring the tea, and then it like keeps cutting back and forth, which is probably the most experimental scene
Yeah, that
in
really
the movie.
confused me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was like, I was like, where am I? What's happening? But she was remembering the butt plug
It
scene.
was the one time in the movie where it wasn't so very chronological, painstakingly chronological. I will say something specific, and then we will cut to a scene about exactly what I've just said.
It must have really thrown the audience. But I don't understand. She's in two places
Hold
at
on
once.
a second, it's going
Is she in
back
her
in
office
time.
or is she in the butt plug area? Next, guys, on tomorrow at work, if you see me stirring my tea, looking into the distance,
1,000 miles there.
you know what I mean. Can we talk about the security firm that Christian hires? So you mentioned there's a stalker. Whatever, it's a carry-on plot from the second movie, I think.
Yeah,
There's her
I'm trying
editor
to remember the
trying
second
to-
movie. I think, again, she ended up she was his PA or his secretary or something.
And he was a
He
slave.
went away or he messed up and she was given his job. She was there
Yeah.
for about a
Sounds like he
week
sexually
and all of a sudden
assaulted
she
her or
is
something.
the...
He
Or
did.
attacked her.
Yeah, he did.
All of a
and
sudden
Christian
she's the
rescued her,
editor.
I think, or something. I don't know. Who cares? Anyway, he's the villain. He's the
Yeah.
whatever, the quote unquote villain of this, even though Christian's the real villain. And he's like stalking them, and he's like whatever hacking into their files for some reason. But there's a whole bit at the beginning where he's like he plants a bomb.
Yeah,
And
there's a whole
steals some
section where
files.
an entire building blows up, or like an entire like.
And they just have a Skype phone call about it while he's. I'm so sorry to disturb you on your honeymoon, but there's been
been a
a
break-in.
giant explosion in the office.
Everything is lost. There's nothing left. Okay.
And the scene, he's up for bail, isn't he, in the courthouse? And the judge, I mean, for someone who's planted a bomb in a building and then broken into someone's home and held a knife to their throat, she's like, yeah, all right, but you've got a clean record.
Given that
So,
you had
you
a
know.
clean record, you get bail.
And they never explained who played his bail, did they?
No, cause
No.
Yeah, cause that's weird because he was
$500,000.
like,
He's
"Judge,
unemployed."
please," as if that couldn't happen.
Yeah.
Maybe-
Next scene, he's out.
Yeah, maybe Christian paid the bail so the plot could develop.
Oh,
It's like,
yeah, probably.
I'm just going to give you $500,000 so you can maybe
really
help the
bored.
plot along. Yeah.
So Christian anyway hires this security firm to background check this guy because he's like, oh, something's fishy about this guy. And so the security firm go to work. You know, there's a scene where they're like, we're on this, we got this. And then
Was this? I want to know what university you went to
Oh,
and
yeah.
what his
I wanna
shoe
know what
size
shoe
is.
size is.
and that's where it stopped. He said, I want to know everything. What university he went to, shoe size he is. No, it was where was he born, what shoe size he is, everything. Like those are the two things. Those are the two most important things, and then everything else.
Yeah.
And then the head of security bursts in with breaking news.
Yeah, this is the best bit. So, just,
He went to Princeton on a bursary.
that's the first thing he says. This is about maybe 45 minutes later in the movie. What we can only assume is weeks
This
of
just in.
scrolling through Google and Facebook and LinkedIn.
Yeah.
It's like we've got a full comprehensive file on this guy. Went to Princeton.
Top-notch background check.
Awful. And then the whole mystery box of the movie is that oh shit, he was an orphan too. You know, he was in the same foster care that Christian was. And then there's the whole thing where they're wrapping it up at the end, and she goes, yes, that explains the comment, like he wanted your life. You owe me a life. Or something. Did anyone else understand? What? Like,
He
why
was
did owe him
obviously
a life?
very
It
upset
was-
that he could have had the life that Christian Grey has now, because he was in the same foster family. But he wasn't adopted by Christian Grey's parents.
But he also
This is-
coincidentally became Anastasia Steele's boss in the second movie. Or was
Not
that all?
quite sure how that came together, but yeah.
I mean, who
that's
cares?
one of those plot
Fucking
holes that
writing.
we can jump right into.
But Christian put that security firm on the detail of like, yeah, we got someone on every family member. Don't worry
yeah.
about it. We got this on lockdown. And then the dude like kidnaps his sister. Just like, and then
Played by Rita Ora.
played by Rita Ora,
Yeah.
who I thought was pretty bad actually.
Very bad.
Like, not a big part, but not good at all. I don't think. Like,
But yeah, hired someone to look after his whole family.
Yeah.
They failed on all counts. Mrs. Grey is able to easily evade her security dude. Like they're the worst security firm imaginable.
Yeah.
They fuck up at every step of the way.
and then that's right. And then he ropes Anna into like bringing the $5 million ransom to them, and she doesn't tell Christian. It's all secretive, etc., etc. And then Christian sort of clocks what's happening, and at that point, his security advisor is like, "Your sister's been kidnapped." And he's listing off these things like,
just
so
it.
he got off bail, and my sister's been kidnapped, and my wife has taken $5 million out of my account. The security guys are all looking very sad at that point because they've been fucking fired.
Well, geez, that's to one of my favorite scenes. Basically what happens is Anastasia gets the money. She meets him, obviously, at a pre-arranged point to hand over the cash. She gets slapped twice, falls to the floor, kicked once in the stomach. She manages to then shoot him in the knee, and then passes out and somehow ends up in ICU.
In a coma or something.
A coma.
I thought the same thing. I was like, okay, but she's pregnant, so maybe she's lost a baby. No, not lost a baby.
Baby's fine.
Baby's fine.
Baby's fine.
Baby's fine.
So what?
Just have a good old rest.
What's wrong with her?
What is she doing in the intensive care unit?
Why is she in a coma for like a couple of days or something?
And this is why the NHS is fucked, and that there's so many beds taken up, because the rich people get a cut and a bruise, and they get a whole room to themselves with a glorious view.
It's funny because that entire hospital scene was longer than the hostage scene, so it was weirdly imbalanced. Where you expect something really dramatic to happen with Rita Ora in the hostage scene.
I remember thinking, that scene's over now. That was pretty easy. Just shoots him in the leg. Okay, game over.
Yeah, just end it in a hospital for 15 minutes talking about the baby, and
It's because Christian decided that he wanted to be a father all of a sudden.
And he wanted to cry. He had to cry for the first time, I assume ever. So that's the first time he's ever cried?
Yeah,
that was his character development through the film.
He learned to cry.
His brother said he's never cried, and then he cried.
Yeah.
He's come full circle.
Yeah, Anastasia had anal. Christian had crying. It was perfect development.
I did laugh a lot during the movie, though.
It was good.
It was
good
funny.
fun.
It reminded me of a sort of spoof film, basically, where you know how Scary Movie is a spoof of Scream and Halloween, etc. You could do that movie as a spoof and not change the script whatsoever, just get different characters in, and it would be pretty damn funny.
That's how South Park makes their comedy, by just being completely deadpan.
Yeah, 100%.
That's why Airplane was so funny, because they told all the actors to deliver it like a drama.
Like
right?
It's real and like they mean it.
That's exactly why this movie is so
made
funny.
it so funny.
Is it okay? Let's give the people something constructive. Is it funny enough that you would recommend them to watch it? I think if you in a group setting, I think we had a laugh.
Yeah.
But would you throw it on at home with a group of friends? I can't imagine that happening.
Not at home with a group of friends. No, it would just feel weird, I think.
So really, we just wasted our time tonight.
Pretty much.
Hang on, we got a few drinks after work.
If it's worth even putting on at home just with the missus.
Yeah, I think they could have just put a bit more into the plot. It wouldn't have taken much more just to make it slightly more interesting. But they just didn't. There was just no effort to sort of make that at all. There was no depth to it whatsoever. It was just is he going to get out of that? Yes, he is. Is he going to do something again? And he immediately does something, and then it gets solved. There was no twist or
that
anything.
Plot was a pool that only had a shallow end.
Nice, yeah. I mean, it's even lower rent than whatever a TV movie used to be, right? I mean, I can't even
made for TV Sunday afternoon special.
There's nothing unpredictable in this. We even knew the butt plug was coming.
Oh yeah. Although I thought your rendition was better actually before Matthew.
Thank you. Yes. Maybe what we should have done is just performed the script ourselves. I think that kind of wraps it up. Any final thoughts?
Except from me.
No. All right, guys.
Don't bother.
Thanks for coming.
Don't bother.
Yeah, don't bother.
I agree.
If you haven't already listened to it, go listen to the female take on this movie, which I hope and imagine is pretty much the same conclusions that we've drawn.
Let's hope so.
I think so. I think this movie is universally bad. I think all humans can agree, whatever creed, decorum, race or religion you come from.
Definitely.
I think this is probably the thing that will unite us all as a species.
Well, all three movies have brought in over $1 billion now. $1 billion. I think it is
They've earned
between
as
the
much
three
as
of them.
Christian Grey has.
So it's clearly doing okay.
Well, thanks for listening, everyone. If you go listen to the all-female episode of this, and please subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your podcasts, and leave us a review if you enjoyed this or if you enjoy anything we do. Head into Apple Podcasts or Acast or wherever you are and leave us a nice review. Or you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. We're at the Cinemile on all those things. Lads, thanks for coming along.
Thanks for having us.
Good night. It's been emotional.
We're all off to get jet skis.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
I tried emailing you. It bounced. There's no Anastasia Gray at SIP.
I know. Anna Steele is the name I use at work. I need to have my own identity here. People already think I got to where I am because of you.
But you didn't. You got this through hard work and talent. Why does it matter what you call yourself? Who gives what people think?
Well, apparently you do. Would you change your name for me?
Yes. I've meant that much to you.